If you've had someone pull away recently, suddenly and unexpectedly, then this love reading is for you, because I'm picking up on a very specific dynamic in our collective here on YouTube. Well, I say this in many videos, but this one I really need to emphasize. This is a very specific reading. This is meant for a certain group. So if you're listening and it doesn't seem to be connecting, check out one of my other videos, because there may be a different message for you in a different video, but this may not be your reading unless you're feeling a resonance. And don't worry, I am going to, because this reading is so specifically specific, I am going to pull some initial cards and share some information about this person that we're dealing with, so you can determine for yourself whether that sounds aligned for you right at the beginning of the reading. Okay, so this person, for some reason I heard the word alternative. Maybe this person has a very unique way of dressing. Maybe they're into alternative music, or they have some sort of, I don't know, alternative lifestyle. That won't be for everyone. But some of these messages that I'm about to share, they will define specifically whether this reading is for you. And this is one of those. So one of those is that if this reading is for you, this is a person that I'm hearing it was warm, but it went cold. This connection felt very warm. It felt very comfortable. It was also moving. I'm hearing it was actually moving very gradually. There may have been a lot of stop and go energy, but again, there was always this warmth, just this feeling like it was being very paced. It was like they were keeping the connection warm, not because they were intentionally putting it on the back burner, meaning that like they had other people or connections. The reason they were keeping this warm was because their life is so busy, so chaotic. There is a lot going on here in this person's world. And I'm hearing stress. They may have been really stressed out. You may or may not actually know about this part of their life, because I feel they really tried to present their best to you. You are someone that they always perceived as, I'm hearing, being ahead of them or being out of their league. And I feel you did have some awareness of that. If you're being honest with yourself, you always kind of knew that you were kind of ahead of this person in some sense. Not that I feel you're the kind of person to put much stock in that, but I feel either you may conventionally be more attractive than them, or you may have more figured out in your life than them from like a human societal standpoint, or you just may be more established in some way or in some space, or just like within yourself, you may have a greater level of confidence. In some cases, you may have even been older than this person in terms of earth years, but that won't be for everyone. I'm just getting there may be an age gap involved here. But I feel like in some sense, even if it was like spiritually, like you were more spiritually advanced, I feel like you had progressed further than this person. So there was always this layer of complication to your connection. Like I'm hearing learner, like they were learning something from you, but there was also this love for you that I do feel was romantic. This does feel like a love reading for the people I'm connecting to, but I feel it was confusing because there was this chemistry. I'm getting very strong physical attraction. There was a physical chemistry, and yet the sense that, whoa, I'm hearing learning to be human. Okay, this is going to be quite a reading. But okay, so wow, so you were ahead of this person in some sense, so you were naturally teaching them something. But I don't feel like you were literally like sitting in a classroom setting, like, you know, actually traditionally teaching this person. Your energy and your example were teaching them or training them into a frequency that was going to open their life, that was going to unlock them in some way and actually allow them to manifest more of their dreams in life. Because I do feel this is a person coming up as a dreamer, a visionary. They may be a creative type. They may be an entrepreneur. I feel like this was someone forging their own path in the world in some kind of way. Sorry, I had to pause the reading for a second because I use these music tracks in the background, and I actually like to listen to them while I'm speaking. It sort of helps me to get into that headspace to channel messages for all of you. But I realized that the music had stopped, so I had to add more tracks to the music track portion of the recording. And the reason I felt guided to share that is because I felt it so ironically reflected exactly how things felt in your connection. Like there was this beautiful flowing music between you metaphorically. Maybe someone, again, is a creative type, like a musician, or there was just this sense of being in sync. And then suddenly the music stopped. And it's like, where did it go? Is it going to start up again? Like, where is that rhythm, that synchronicity? And I feel like something happened on this person's end. I'm hearing chaos. I'm seeing like an avalanche of chaos. They may have suddenly gone through an avalanche of chaos in their own life that they've not even spoken to you about. I'm hearing embarrassed. They may be embarrassed even by what's going on in their life at the moment. And I'm also hearing misunderstandings or miscommunication. I'm seeing a lion as well. Maybe someone is a Leo here. This can also represent protection or pride. Maybe this person felt too proud to share with you what was actually going on in their world. So they just pulled away, kind of hoping that they could just regroup themselves and then re-enter your life. But I'm hearing things just kept getting more chaotic. For others of them, it could be that they were like protective of your energy and your peace. Like I'm hearing they love seeing you happy. They love seeing you thriving. And so when chaos came into their life, they didn't want to bring you into it. I'm hearing I never wanted to detract from your happiness. And when my life became very chaotic, I felt if I were to stay in your life, I would only detract from your happiness. So I'm hearing took an Irish exit, like leaving without any explanation. I think that's what people consider to be an Irish exit, right? Just leaving without saying goodbye. I'm not really sure what the origin of that is from, though. If you are from Ireland, which, by the way, I've heard is a beautiful place. It's somewhere I would love to visit. But if you are from there, tell me, is this a common practice, like being able to leave a social event without necessarily needing to say goodbye? Because personally, I think that could be kind of a nice policy. Like when you're ready to just leave, you can go without needing to do all the closing remarks and everything. But anyway, a little bit sidetracked. Maybe someone is from Ireland who's connecting with this reading, or maybe someone has Irish heritage and that's somehow like applying to the reading here. But anyway, let's not get too derailed into that. I feel this person left without saying goodbye, or they disconnected without explanation. So I am going to pull some more cards. What can I channel? For some reason, I heard Goldilocks. And, I'm getting this fairy tale element, like Goldilocks when she's entering into this like mystical world, entering into someone else's home. I feel almost like this person never felt like they belonged in your world. They felt like you were from a different world. You may have felt this way about this person as well. I'm getting some throat chakra like tingling. So something with communication here, like this person, they feel like they don't know what to say to you. Again, okay, there's so many threads obviously coming up here. I know this could be connecting with different people in different ways, but let's kind of break it down more clearly. So with that Goldilocks analogy, I feel like this person feels like you're from totally different worlds. Like you're from some different magical place or dimension that is mystical to them, that's like a fairy tale to them, that they don't even really fully understand. And I'm getting that this is because in some sense, you actually are from very different worlds. You're from very different timelines. I'm not even talking like physically. I mean, you may even live in similar physical locations. I'm talking like about frequency, vibration, like energetic dimension. I feel that you are very spiritually progressed. You've gone through multiple awakenings. You've really shifted into kind of like this higher reality that this person is deeply curious about. Again, it's the energy of the learner, like wanting to learn or wanting to understand your world, but feeling like it's so foreign to them. I feel like they more so live in this world of practicality, logic, reason, more of like a 3D based kind of world. And everyone around them in that world, a card just flew out while I was shuffling. Everyone around them in that world, by the way, is kind of the same way. I'm hearing one of these things is not like the other. Like you are a standout in their world. You never really belonged in their world and vice versa. And yet you were meeting in the middle. You were meeting in this, I'm getting chills. This is so intense. You were meeting in this place that was just for the two of you, almost like a place between your worlds. So it's like you have your magical, kind of fifth dimensional, higher vibrational, beautiful, unconditional love, creative, passionate reality. And this person has their logical, practical, monotonous, stagnant, kind of fear-based, control-based reality. But somehow the universe brought the two of you together into this, I'm hearing like a gray area. Maybe with that term gray area, a lot of things about your connection felt just like that. They felt like a gray area. They felt undefined. But I'm getting that you would meet in this undefined space and have the most magical moments together. Like it felt unreal on both sides. It's like you were in this world that was only temporarily existing for the two of you. That's the best way I can put it. It's like you would meet in this space that wouldn't exist before you entered into it together, and wouldn't exist, that didn't exist before you entered into it together, and wouldn't exist after you exited it together. And I'm hearing you could only enter and exit this space together. It was like a co-creation. I know we're talking like so mystical here, but this is the best way I can put it. And I know if this reading is for you, you felt this. You felt that this person, most likely, this is someone that you both probably didn't even talk much about. I'm hearing I didn't want you to disappear. There's this feeling like you're not even real, and I don't want you to disappear. And I'm scared if I try to like touch you, maybe this person was really hesitant to even like hold your hand or touch you, or because it was this feeling of, what if I'm in the middle of a really good dream and I try to make it more tangible and it just disappears altogether? That's how this person always felt with you. That's why they never moved it into more tangible territory, because they were terrified that if they did that, they would lose even the illusion of you, even the idea of you, even like some way of communicating with you. And so you would create these spaces together. Well, let's finish out the thought. So I'm getting as well, like I was saying, that I know this sounds so weird. This is so specific, but you probably wouldn't even talk much to family and friends about this person. And they wouldn't talk much about you to their family and friends. And it's not because either of you was embarrassed by the other, and it's not because you weren't having strong feelings. It's because you had this spiritual awareness, like a soul level awareness, that this bond was very mystical, that it's almost like you weren't supposed to meet, but you did anyway. Like you slipped between the cracks of reality to meet each other or something like that. Again, you were meeting in like this gray area. What I mean by that is you come from such different worlds that carry such different frequencies that naturally, via the law of attraction, which draws together things that are alike, things that share similar frequency, via the law of attraction, typically you would never ever meet each other. But I'm hearing an exception. It's almost like you were both an exception for the other, meaning that you met even though it didn't really make sense, or you connected even though you came from very different worlds. And I'm hearing that, and this was actually something that came up earlier. Yes, this person was learning that new higher vibrational frequency from you, but you were learning something from them too. And that's where I got that line I said earlier, how to be human. Because what I feel about you is you've been on such a deep, intense, my eyes are like starting to water. This is feeling very emotional. You've been on this intense spiritual journey that has been so tiring. I mean, it's been beautiful and it's been expansive, and look at how far you've come. Look at how much you've grown. Look at how wise you are spiritually. But it's also been so exhausting to your human vessel, to your human physical self. And to be quite honest, it was time for you to just have fun, to enjoy your life, to be able to experience being human again. Because yes, of course, technically speaking, you were human. You were here in this human physical form as you were going through those awakenings. But I think we both know that during that time, you had to spend the majority of your time alone. You had to be in a hermit mode mostly. You were essentially kind of needing to be in this cave, or we've sometimes called it a cocoon, like for a butterfly going through metamorphosis. Yes, that was all very necessary. And again, it was a beautiful process. I feel you wouldn't trade it for the world because of who you've become as a result of that. And I hope that you wouldn't trade it, because the way you're looking now, the kind of energy you're exuding, it's such a deep inspiration. Your energy literally teaches others into higher versions of themselves just by being around them. And actually, that's exactly what was happening between you and this person as well. But I feel like they entered your life to teach you, or to give you this time to be able to just live a bit more in the moment as this beautiful human being that you are. To just, I'm seeing a lot of sacral chakra energy. Maybe they inspired a lot of like creativity. I'm hearing creativity without needing to define it or needing to understand it or know where it's going to go. And I feel this person really helped you to open up in that way, and that it's been so deeply healing to your soul. And I'm getting that's part of why you're sensing such a loss here, because it's kind of this feeling of, was I wrong for engaging with this person that I kind of knew all along was from a different world, that I kind of knew all along was not really exactly on my frequency, but it just felt so right to connect with them. It actually felt so aligned for me. And I feel this message is coming through to say you weren't wrong. That was you following your intuition. That was you. I'm hearing the healing happens now in the living, and not the thinking, not the reflecting, not the solitude. The healing for you, you've done all the intellectualizing. You've done all of the thinking, you've done the reflecting, I'm hearing you've played it back a million times. Maybe there are specific things that you've been healing through and you've thought them through, right? You know every detail of what happened. You've processed it all intellectually. But now there is a shift in phases for you in your healing process. Now, the healing for you is meant to be happening through the living, through the being, through the creating, not through the thinking, not through the analyzing, not through the mental replaying of things or trying to figure things out at the level of the mind. I'm hearing it all unravels itself as you allow yourself to stand bravely in the moment, facing the brink of the beautiful, vast unknown. And that is exactly what you're doing. And I feel this all ties into this specific person, but it's so much bigger than them. Maybe just having this bigger picture of what's going on in your life right now will be helpful in this situation for you. But of course, I do want to share a few more messages about where this person's headspace is at right now as they seem to have pulled away, what's going on here. So I'm going to get into that. But if you've been connecting with this reading so far, I really want to recommend 2 subliminals from my app, Sound and Soulful. So these are both ones that I have personally been using and that I've created very recently. And the first one is Balanced Transformation. The second one is Highest-Vibrational Timeline. Now, there's a very specific reason for this specific reading and this hyper-specific group that I'm actually recommending these 2 together, because Balanced Transformation is about helping you to maintain your balance and stability through circumstances in a time that may feel like very chaotic, but what you need to know about the chaos is it's actually catalyzing you. It's catapulting you into your highest version of self. And so this will help you to stay balanced, to stay feeling grounded, feeling clear, really allowing for that rapid transformation to take place as you keep your bearings, so to speak. But the second subliminal is more so designed to help you stay connected with that super high frequency energy that's connecting you with your highest vibrational timeline in all areas of your life. So using these two together, you can even add them to your own playlist in the app. This will really maximize your growth spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And maybe even more important for you at this phase of your journey, it will help you maximize your happiness in the moment, because that is everything for you right now. That is actually where your true healing is taking place right now. So as you guys know, I love subliminals. I've seen more results from using them to manifest than any other manifestation tool I've ever tried. And if you don't yet have my subliminals app, Sound and Soulful, I will leave a download link to it in the pinned comment and description box. You can try it completely free for 7 days. And in the app, there are over 130 subliminals that I've created. They are all available in 10 different background sound options. You can read the affirmations while you're listening and also create your own custom private playlists. So yeah, all of that information is underneath the video. But as I said, I do want to get into this person's headspace because I know many of you are probably curious about that. Although we've already talked about like the bigger picture here, I want to know what they're thinking and feeling right now. And as I was channeling into this, the card that came out is conflict, the 5 of Wands. So this is someone who seems to be dealing with a lot of external conflict and chaos in their life. And I'm getting very strongly that they've never spoken about this to you. So these are things that you are most likely unaware of. But I also see this representing internal conflict. I feel like this person is very internally conflicted, almost like they're fighting with themselves. So can I get more information? I feel like there are opposing forces in this person's life. And wow, I just got a major download that, okay, this is not just random. I know it seems like this person went cold really suddenly, and maybe it feels when you're in your lower moments like all of this was meaningless, but that's not true because, okay, this was not random, even though it seemed that way. So when I said you were meeting in that space between worlds, like creating this world of your own, and that being around you was training this person into a higher frequency, I feel they naturally, almost accidentally, through being in your presence, being around your energy, they began to open their mind, okay? And this happened again very automatically. They may not have even been aware that it was happening, but it started to trigger people and things in their current reality. And that's actually the source of this opposition, this external conflict. It's happening because you caused this person to open their mind, to begin thinking for themselves, to free themselves from ways that people or things around them may have been trying to keep them controlled or keep them thinking in a certain way. You've actually altered this person's their mind, their energy, and that alteration in their energy, I'm hearing it's triggering the collapse of a reality that their true self didn't belong in either. Whoa, okay, so I said you didn't really belong in their reality, but the truth is they didn't really belong in their reality either, because they, on a soul level, are similar to you. There's a soul connection here. I actually feel that they were dealing with a lot of karmic people, situations, like things in their life that were based on a very superficial, artificial level. And when you began to take them deeper into themselves, it's almost like you introduced them to their true self. And as they began to show more of that true self to the world in their current reality, it began to trigger a lot of people and things around them. And all of that conflict and chaos caused them to possibly go cold on you or shut a door on you, not because they wanted to, not because they weren't interested, but because they felt overwhelmed. I'm hearing things have started changing very fast. But again, I feel like you are completely unaware of this at a conscious level. This person is going through an ego death with the thinking man reverse, which of course is part of a spiritual awakening process. I feel like they're in the midst, like the thick of a very intense spiritual awakening that they've not spoken to you about. And with hostilities in the reverse position, I feel like they're just trying to find some peace, like trying to get to a state of peace and stability. And I feel that once they do reach that state of peace, you will be hearing from this person again. But of course, we don't know exactly how long that process is going to take. I've not really gotten a clear indication. And I feel because they were overwhelmed, yes, this continuing spiritual awakening is inevitable, but I feel like they've almost been like, wait, I need to slow down this energy. I need to slow down these changes. And it's almost like subconsciously they recognize that you were the one sparking these changes, that you were the reason that their whole reality was being triggered and why they were changing. And yes, that process, it's revealing their true self to them and to the world. But it's almost like their human self got overwhelmed and they shut down to you because subconsciously they sensed that at some level you were the cause of this. And they weren't incorrect. From what we've been channeling, you kind of were the cause of this. Not that you were intentionally trying to create chaos, but let's face it, you have a powerful frequency and energy. I'm hearing you can't play around with a goddess. And so regardless of whether you're in your feminine or masculine, I feel like you have that goddess embodiment, like you are someone who is ethereal, almost seems surreal, almost like this mystical being that's very much in their power, very much in their flow. And I feel like this person tried to play in the shallow end of a goddess and got pulled way out into the deep end. And it's introducing them to the deeper end of themselves internally, to their true self. And they're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't ready for this. But they'll be back. I'm getting that very strongly because one thing about you is you leave an impression. I know that you know this. This isn't something that I'm saying from this point of like arrogance, because I know you're not an arrogant person, but it's just the truth that your energy leaves an impression. And no one who experiences your energy, especially not to this degree that this person is experiencing it, is going to be able to forget about that. I'm hearing they'll be back sooner or later. That might be your guides talking here. Now, of course, I don't recommend waiting for anyone because you deserve all of the happiness, all of the support, all of the love in the moment now in your life. You deserve to make the choices that are the most self-supportive and self-loving for you, whatever that is. This is just kind of what I'm picking up on here in the energy. And I hope this has helped to remind you of, I'm hearing, to straighten your crown. I feel like you've got this very royal energy, but this situation may have kind of ruffled you a little bit. It may have made you feel a little like, whoa, why did this person disconnect from me so suddenly? And I hope this helped to remind you of who you are. Although, of course, you don't really need the reminder, but really that's the goal of this channel, to help keep you bringing yourself back to yourself, to your most true self. And I'm really glad that I can play that role on your journey. If this channel has been a support for you, if you are connecting with this reading, then I do recommend subscribing and turning on notifications so that YouTube lets you know when I post more content, more videos, more energy updates, and messages that might be relevant to your life. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, and of course, the link to download the Sound and Soulful app and get access to the subliminals I recommended for you in this reading will be in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. As always, I am sending you all huge amounts of love. Thank you for being here, and I will connect with you in the next video.